and welcome. Today we're going to be going over how you can create a Zenphi flow for document approval. So let's go ahead and get started. The first step to any Zenphi flow is to set up your trigger, which in Zenphi is the action that's going to initiate your flow. To do so, all you have to do is click on the plus icon here to create a new connection. It can be private or shared depending who you want it to be visible to, and you can also give it a name. What this is going to do is it's going to grant Zenphi permission to be able to access your drive, since in this case we're using the Google Drive trigger, meaning it's going to start the flow whenever a file is added to a folder. Now to select which folder you want Zenphi to monitor, you have to click on this Google Drive icon here and you'll be able to select any folder from your Google Drive. The first action we're going to be using is called query collection, and this is going to be used to be able to see who the owner of the document is. So we're going to select the collection that we want to loop through. We're going to use this icon here. This is called a token picker, and we're going to be able to see all the information from previous steps. So if we scroll down at the bottom in the trigger, we're going to be able to see the collection of owners in the file. Just in case there's more than one, we're going to add token, and we just want the first item. This next action is actually setting a variable. So what we would suggest is creating a variable for each team that needs to verify and approve of your documents. So if you need to create a legal email, finance email, HR email, make sure to create a variable for each one of these people. And here you would set it with the value of the email of the person that needs to approve of the document. To create a variable, all you have to do is click up at the top variables and you can create a new one. You can give it a name, just be sure to select and type string. Next we have this action which is going to be used for the approval loop. This is called a state machine, meaning it's going to switch from one to the other. Make sure to add a state for each one of the people that need to approve of the document. So in this case I have the legal team and the editor. If you want to add HR or finance, also add a state for that by clicking on add state. Now, as you can see here, we have an action around a dotted line. This action is called request data, and once you select this action, it will automatically create these three branches: notify, reminder, and expiry. You can use all three branches. You can use just two, depending on your preferences and your needs. Now, going to the setup of this action, this is going to allow you to first create a form where they can fill in information that's needed, and then they can complete the task. So to do that, first we're going to build our Zenphi form. This is the one that we're going to be using. Basically, they're able to choose the outcome, add any comments. You have to select who's going to be receiving this to approve or deny. So we're going to be using the variable we just created. If you can't see your variable, it's down at the bottom here and you'll be able to access it here. Here you have the option to decide when you want to complete the task. If it's when the first person responds, when all the people respond, when a certain number of people respond. So really it's going to depend on how many emails you're sending this to and what you're looking for. For this example, we're going to do the first person that responds. And here you can add reminders or expiry. You can do more than one reminder and you can choose after how many days. And if you enable the expiry, you can choose how many days it expires after. It could even be minutes, hours, months. Now moving on to what we have in each branch. Again, these are going to be automatically added whenever you create the action. All you have to do is edit what the email says, who it's going to be sent to. So for the notify email, what we have to do is first set up our connection like we did with Google Drive. So in this case, what we're going to do is first select who's going to be receiving the email. So in this case, we're going to be using the token picker, going to get legal approval, and using the recipient of the form instance. Once again, you can edit the subject, you can edit the body, you can use the token picker to be able to add, for example, the file name, the display name of the person to make it more personalized. And as you can see here, I added the view link to the document that was added to the folder. To be able to add that, you have to go to the trigger, and there's a token here called view link. So what we added here is please review the document, leave your comments, and approve or reject accordingly using this form, and then we link the form. To link the form, all you have to do is go to this action here and you'll be able to see the form URL. Now moving on to the reminder email, again we set up the connection. It's going to be sent to the same person, and here it says reminder, how many reminders have been sent. And to be able to add the reminder count, if you go here, you'll be able to see the reminder count. down at the bottom. And in the body of the email, it's basically letting them know that they still need to input the information for the document by completing the form. And again, we're linking the Zenphi form that they have to fill out. In this case, I'm not using the expiry branch, but if you wish to have your document expire, you're able to do so as well. Next, we're creating an action which is going to save any comments they might have made in the document using the form. So to be able to get that, we're going to use a token picker, get legal approval, and we're able to see the comments down at the bottom by clicking on this add token. The next action we have is a switch by value, which is going to help us check the result, if it was approved, if it needs to be sent back, if it was rejected. So what we're going to do is we're going to input the outcome of the legal approval by clicking on the token picker. And here we're able to see the outcome, so whatever they decided. And we're going to add approved, sent back for review, and you also have to do a default branch, meaning if it's not approved or sent back for review, it's going to go automatically to this branch. So in this case, we're going to add reject. Okay, so now what's going to happen is if it's approved, it's going to exit this loop. If it needs to be sent back for review and make some changes, it's going to be sent to the editor. So it's going to go up here. The first action we have is assign tasks. So this is going to ask the person who created the document to review it. You can add a task name, a task description, and you can edit the outcome. So here we have an approve or reject. Now who's going to be getting this task assigned to? The person who owns the document, which we had set at the beginning, the document owner. So we're going to be using their email address. And again, you can personalize the subject and the body. Here we're just letting them know that it was sent back for review, that they can view the comments here, which is the variable we had created to review the comments, which we can see down at the bottom, the review comments variable. It says to please make any necessary changes and press done in the email, and if they don't wish to proceed, they could just click on reject and then the view link to the original document. So if they don't want to make those changes, it's going to terminate the flow. This would be where the flow ends. And if they do want to make the changes, it would go on to the next step. So here basically they're going to be receiving an email letting them know that the document was rejected. So who's going to be getting the email? Once again, the creator of the document. The subject basically says that the document was rejected, and again, heads up that the document was rejected, and a view link. So in the email, what we can do is edit the subject and the body. This basically says that the document was rejected and there's a view link to view the document, and then after that it's going to terminate the flow. So now going back to the last steps, which are only going to be done when the document was approved in this step or when it was sent to the creator and they accepted making those changes, and then click done that they had made them. So in this case, the last steps would be to export that document in PDF. So we're going to get the ID of the file by clicking on the icon here. So we're going to open up this action. This is called export docs. It exports Google Docs into different formats. So in this case, we want it in PDF. We're going to get the ID of the file by clicking on the token picker, and we can see it here. Then you have to select where you want the file to be stored in, which folder in your Google Drive. You can use the Google Drive icon, and then you can also give the file a name. After that, the only step that we have is sending it to the original creator. So here we're going to send it again to the owner of the document. Contract first name was approved. Again, if you want to contract file name was approved. Again, if you want to add the file name, you can go to the trigger and you can access all that information here. So we have the file name. And since we exported it to PDF, now we're going to be attaching it. So if we use a token picker in attachments, you'll be able to see it here, the exported document. And that would be everything. Remember, you're able to add as many people as you need to be able to approve the document before you create the PDF. You can add more actions. You can make it as simple or as complex as you need. And remember, you can also check out our YouTube channel. There you'll be able to find different use cases for different triggers, different actions. So you can see what else you can do with Zenphi and learn how to automate different processes. Thank you so much for watching.